Hello and welcome back to my first video in a very long time. I'm sorry. And it's actually going to be the first time you guys see my face in a while. Actually, I don't think you guys have ever seen my face on this channel. But today we're doing the history of Kmart. Yes, everybody's favorite store in the world. I hope so. If you're watching this, you're probably don't even know what Kmart is. Obviously, you're watching a video about what Kmart is. So, obviously you don't know. But let's get started with the beginning. The founder, Sebastian S. Kresge. Yes, that was the founder of Kmart. Fun. So the founder of the company SS Kresge, which was Sebastian S. Kresge, yes, that's what SS means in SS Kresge, yes. That would later become Kmart. Met variety store pioneer Frank Winfield Woolworth. Also, I'm sorry if I keep looking over here. I have a script here. So, while working as a traveling salesman and selling to all 19 of the Woolworth stores at the time. In 1897, Kresge invested $6,700, saved from his job into a five and dime store in Memphis, Tennessee. Yes, Tennessee. Yeah, very far from Michigan, where Kmart was founded. I don't know how he ended up from there to Michigan. I don't know how he ended up from here, like down here, to up here. I don't know. But he jointly owned the first store with his former tinware customer John G. McCory. I can't speak English. Kresge and McCory added a second store in downtown Detroit the following year. Yes. The company was listed on the New York Stock Exchange on May 23rd, 1918. 1918? During World War I. Kresge experimented with raising the limits on prices in his store to $1. Yes, very cheap. You want to find that today. By 1924, Kresge was worth approximately $375 million, which I feel like that's not true. I might be wrong, but I feel like that's not true. And owned a real estate of the approximate value of $100 million. Growth early in the 20th century remained brisk. I don't know what that means. With 257 stores in 1924, rising to 597 stores by 1929. That is actually really surprising. In 1929, Kresge retired as president in 1925, continued as the company's chairman. The Great Depression reduced profitability and resulted in the store's closing, but the number rose to 682 in 1940 after the war. Shopping patterns changed and many customers moved out of cities and into suburbs. Yes, everybody's favorite place. The suburbs. Now it's kind of shifted again to cities. Under the leadership of executive Harry Cunningham, SS Kresge opened the first Kmart named store in March of 1962. Yes, 1962. At 27,000 square feet, the first Kmart was, in fact, originally intended to be a Kresge store until late in the planning process, around the time of the first Kmart, obviously, some poorly performing SS Kresge stores were converted to a new Jupiter discount store brand. That brand did not last a long time. Just saying, it did not last a very long time. So let's move on to everybody's favorite portion, the last Kresge store. In 1980, Vice Chairman Berman M. Fiber, he has a lot of fiber, was elected as the chairman as the CEO of Kmart. In 1987, the Kmart Corporation sold its remaining 76 Kresge stores and Jupiter stores in the United States to McCrory Stores, and the brand was almost entirely discontinued, although Canadian Kresge and Jupiter stores continued operation until 1994. That is actually really surprising. Did not know that. I hope that's true. In November of 1990, Walmart passed Kmart to become the second largest retailer. 1990, in an effort to update its image, Kmart introduced a new logo. It dropped the old stylic italic K with the turquoise mark in favor of a red block K with the word Mart. Yes, that's the logo everybody recognizes whenever they know Kmart. Written in script and continued inside the K. Kmart then began remodeling stores shortly thereafter. This logo was replaced to M4 with the current one. Yes. In 1990, Little Caesars opened its first in-store Kmart restaurant, Rochester, Michigan. Both actually never knew this. Coincidentally, Little Caesars and Kmart were founded in Garden City, Michigan. I hope this is true too. But let's go on to the first Super Kmart. So the first Super Kmart opened its locations in July of 1991 in Medina Township, Ohio, featuring a full-service grocery with a full-service deli, seafood counter, and bakery. It also had a general merchandise like many Kmarts had. However, this location was downsized in 2011. That makes sense. The second ground-up Super Kmart Center opened in Copley Township, Ohio, featuring an in-store video rental center and an in-store carry-out Chinese restaurant. This location was also shut down. The last Super Kmart Center in Howland Township, Ohio, closed on April 8th, 2018. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, hold on a sec. Besides the Medina and Copley locations, many more Super Kmarts opened nationwide. The company would again change its name in 1991 after 14 years, changing it slightly to the Kmart Corporation, which Kmart, not the actual name of Kmart, like not the store name, but the company name that ran Kmart. So you know how like Walmart has Walmart Corporation, and like every company has like a parent location, like Google has Alphabet. Kmart did the same, where it changed the name of the corporation that owned Kmart to the Kmart Corporation. Let's move on to the first big Kmart, everybody's favorite store, and for some reason they opened so many of them that almost every video you find on Kmart is probably going to most likely be a Super Kmart. But in the first big Kmart opened in Chicago, Illinois on April 23rd, 1997. The format focused on home fashions, children apparel, and consumables. The pantry, which was called the pantry. Duh. Most Kmart stores were remodeled to this format during the late 1990s to the early 2000s. Intentionally, this approach was successful and sales numbers had grown by 10 to 15% in Kmart stores, converted to the big Kmart format. During 1997 and 1998, the locations by the company either converted regular Kmart stores into or opened outright 1,245 big Kmart locations. By 1990, 62% of Kmart stores were big Kmart locations. In 1998, Kmart acquired 45 former Venture stores and converted them into big Kmart locations. There were a high of 19,000 big Kmart stores during the 2000s compared to about 100 Super Kmart and another 100 remaining traditional Kmart locations. January of 2002, Kmart filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. That's probably the first bankruptcy everybody thinks of. Bankruptcy protection under the leadership of its then chairman, Charles Conaway. And President Mark Schwartz. Conaway, who successfully expanded CVS Corporation, accepted an offer to take the helm at Kmart, along with the loan of $5 million in a scandal similar to that involved Enron. Conaway and Schultz were accused of misleading shareholders and the other company officials about the company's financial crisis while making millions, allegedly spending the company's money on airplanes, houses, boats, and other luxuries. I don't know what this has to do with Kmart. I guess it does. At the conference for Kmart employees on January 22nd, Conaway accepted full blame for the financial disaster as Kmart emerged from bankruptcy. Conaway was forced to step down and was asked to pay back all the loans he had taken. After dismissing Conaway and Schultz, Kmart closed more than 300 stores in the U.S., including all locations in Alaska, and laid off around 34,000 employees. Or workers. Employees, workers, same thing. I could be wrong. As part of the restructuring process, Kmart introduced the five prototype stores with new logo layout. The lime green and gray color scheme, 1 in White Lake, Michigan, and 4 in Central Illinois. And the new layout was touted as having wider aisles and improved selection and lighting, and the city or town's name featured under the Kmart logo at the front entrance. However, the Kmart could not afford a full-scale rollout. Makes sense. Judging this came out of bankruptcy. The lime green prototype was abandoned for a new orange concept that rolled out several of its locations throughout the United States in 2006. In October 2002, Kmart opened a store in Sophomore Point, New Jersey. Sophomore Point, New Jersey. Its only new location in the year, ultimately the last of its history. The store closed in December of 2019. In January 2003, Kmart closed 326 stores due to lack of profitability and poor sales. In 2003, Kmart emerged from bankruptcy. Whoa! Emerged from bankruptcy. Who knew? On November 17, 2004, Kmart management announced its intention to purchase Sears for $11 billion. And this is around the time when Kmart made a mistake. Well, actually, it was the other way around. Sears purchased Kmart. I don't know how that happened, but it was Sears who purchased Kmart, not the other way around. As part of the merger, Kmart Holding Corporation, the company that owned Kmart, would be transferred to the new Sears Holding Corporation, and Sears would be purchased by the new Sears Holdings Corporation. The new corporation announced that it would continue to operate stores under both Sears and Kmart brands. Around this time, Kmart changed its logo from the red K to that weird K, capital K to lowercase Mart. Inside to the same K with the chain's name in lowercase letters below it. Wow. So it just took the K, took the white Mart out of it, took the K, and put Mart underneath, but in red. Just look up Kmart logo and you'll probably find it pretty easily. But now we're going to move on to the Kmart and Sears holdings. In the 2010s, many of Kmart's stores were considered to be outdated and in decaying condition. In December 2011, That was a long time ago. Sears Holdings announced that 100 to 120 Sears and Kmart stores would close in 2014. News reports indicated that Kmart was liquidizing dozens of stores across the United States. Kmart's parent company, Sears Holdings Corporation, underwent financial distress, which means it's going, oh my god, we're running out of money! Yeah, that's practically what that means. Oh my god, we're running out of money! What do we do? That's practically how that went. Throughout the year, sparking an unspecified number of closing of Sears and Kmart locations amid vendors and lenders' concerns about its liquidation, along with the store's closing. Measures indicated the spinning off of its Land's End division, selling most of its stakes to Sears Canada, which closed later, which I'll probably do a video on in the future. Sears Canada issuing debt and taking on loans that accumulated, putting it track on to raise $1.445 billion in cash in 2014. Howard Reifs, a company spokesman who was often spoken on behalf of Kmart, said store closures are part of a series of actions we're taking to reduce expenses, adjust our assets base, and accelerate transformation of our business model. Yeah, I can't read. I can't read. I'm too stupid to read. In October 2014, Kmart was victim to a data breach concerning customers' credit and debit card info. On October 19th, Kmart stated, based on the Forsaken investigation to date, no personal information, no debit card PIN numbers or email addresses, and no social security numbers were obtained by the criminal responsible. There is also no evidence that Kmart.com customers were impacted. This was a data breach that has been contained and the malware has been removed. I sincerely apologize for any inconvenience this may cause to our members and customers. Yeah, that's exactly what they said. Let's move on to we'll just do it here. Their second bankruptcy. On October 15th, 2018, Sears Holdings filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. The announcement that it would close 142 stores, including 63 Kmart stores. Sears Holdings bankruptcy also marketed Kmart's second bankruptcy in 16 years. That don't surprise me. On November 8th, 2018, Sears Holdings announced they would close an additional 40 stores, including 11 Kmart stores. On November 23rd, 2018, Sears Holdings released a list of 505 stores, including 239 Kmart stores, to be presented for sale in the bankruptcy process. While all other stores were holding liquidation sales, however, the stores for sale were not guaranteed to be protected from liquidation in the future. On December 28th, 2018, Sears Holdings announced it would close 80 additional stores, including 37 Kmarts. 80. That means they're mostly Sears. Yeah, they're mostly Sears. That's great. In April 2016, Kmart announced that it would liquidate 68 stores. The chain announced in September 2016 that 64 more stores in 28 states would close by mid-December 2016. Sears Holdings CEO Eddie Lampert, everybody's favorite person, stated in October 2016 that there were not and never been plans to close Kmart format, and that they are working hard to make it more fun, engaging place to shop, powered by integrated retail innovation and Shop Your Way. Actually, I have a card to Shop Your Way. You might see it back there somewhere. Right there. It's like the first card. Okay. Powered by our I already read that. In December of 2016, at least 25 Kmart locations were targeted for closure. In early 2017, on January, were targeted for closure in early 2017. On January 4th, 2018, after yet another disappointing holiday sales season, Kmart announced it would liquidation of 64 more stores in the spring of 2018, including Kmart's only remaining Super Kmart location in Warren, Ohio, which officially discontinued the Super Kmart format. According to MSN Money, Kmart, along with its sister company Sears, had an extremely high chance of disappointing in 2018, such as 2017, would have marketed its final holiday season as an independent brand. I don't know what that means. In proposal announced in early January, Sears Holdings plan to only keep 202 Kmart stores along with 223 Sears stores open, assuming that it would survive the bankruptcy process. Most proposed locations were in highly populated coastal regions. In February 2019, it was announced that a U.S. bankruptcy judge approved the sale of the most lucrative part of Sears Holdings to Eddie Lampert. Like I said before, everybody's favorite person, Eddie Lampert. Everybody's favorite person. Allowing the surviving part of the company remaining in business with a combination number of 425 Kmart and Sears stores. Wow. At the expense of suppliers and other creditors, the two sister chains became under control of the new equity called Transform Hold Co., also known as Transform Co. Amazing. Let's move on to new management and further store closures. On November 21st, 2021, Kmart closed its last store in Michigan, the state where the chain originated in 1962. Wow, that sucks, actually. The store, which opened in the early 1990s as a replacement to the older, smaller Kmart outlet, which is situated in Marshall, Michigan. The chain's first ever location in Garden City had closed in 2017. On December 18th, 2021, Kmart shut down its last West Coast location in Grass Valley, California. The Bridgehampton, New York location closed on October 20th, 2024. October, the same month as my birthday. That's great. It had opened in 1999 in place of the former Caldor store and was able to outlive other Kmart locations due to the limited competition from Walmart and Target, which were both a 45-minute drive away. The closure left Miami store as the sole location in the continental U.S. Jeez, English is hard. With 4 other remaining U.S. territories. Oh, by the way, just saying, the Bridgehampton location was actually meant to be turned into a Target, which I think that's what it's going through right now. So I guess we'll find that out in about a year when everybody starts complaining that the Target sucks. In May 2025, it announced the Kmart store in Sunny Isle Shopping Center in St. Croix, U.S. Virgin Islands would close in August of 2025. Due to the lease not being renewed, however, its closure came unexpectedly early, shutting down instead on July 5th, 2025. It was the last Kmart in St. Croix. 2 years before the retailer had closed another St. Croix store in Frankenstein, we'll say that, in a shopping mall that had Kmart as a tenant since it debuted on June 30th, 1993. In late June 2025, while the Sunny Isle store in St. Croix was still liquidating its final date approached, the Virgin Islands Daily News reported that the Kmart location in Lockhart Gardens Shopping Center in St. Thomas would also close on August 16th. This leaves chain-wide only one remaining store in the Virgin Islands, which is at the Tutu Park Mall. I can't speak English. On St. Thomas, as well as the store in Guam and the small Kmart in Miami, which is actually, according to things I've heard, it's the same size as Dollar General. Fun. Do I have any more? No.